0.39%. Market watchers attributed the development to sustained confidence as bargain hunters leveraged under value stocks. The market breadth closed on a positive note with 16 gainers against 11 losers. The all-share index gained 104.12 basis points of 0.39% to close at 26,611.96 as against the 26,507.84 recorded the previous day. The market capitalization of equities appreciated by 54 billion naira to close at 13.91 trillion naira from 13.85 trillion naira as market sentiments remained in the green zone. The premier subsector was the most active, measured by turnover volume, with 208.65 billion shares exchanged by investors in 2,171 Ds. And then a quick look at the Itakwe-Warri rail line linked to ports. That's what Buhari is saying. The President, Major General Muhammadu Buhari, on Tuesday virtually inaugurated the 326-kilometer Itakwe-Ajaokuta-Warri rail line for commercial operation and directed the Ministry of Transportation to ensure that all the nation's ports were linked to the rail lines. He listed the ports of origins and destination to be linked to the rail network to include Apapa, Tikan, Warri, One, and Calabar ports. Well, the president declared that his administration recognized the importance of the railway mode of transportation as a vital backbone to support industrialization and economic development. And a look at the electricity tariff increase that has been suspended for 2 weeks. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission on Tuesday night issued an order suspending the September 1st, 2020 hike in electricity tariff for 14 days. The Labour Union and the federal government had reached a truce on Sunday night to reverse the hike in electricity tariff for 14 days, a development that prompted the halt of a nationwide strike by Labour. Well, the Commission is saying that the order shall take effect from September 28th of 2020 and shall cease to have effect on the 11th of October 2020. The Commission had approved a new tariff for power distribution that took effect from September 1st, 2020, but this was resisted by labor unions and most power users. And a look at the gas growth focus on the Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation is focusing on growing Nigerians' domestic gas utilization for balanced economic growth. The Group Managing Director, NNPC Medakari, said this on Tuesday at the Business Day Energy Series Summit, which held virtually with the team Nigeria at 60, harnessing Nigerians' energy for the future. The corporation spokesperson, Kende Abateru, quoted the GMD in a statement issued in Abuja, saying that the NNPC was working on growing domestic gas utilization to 5 billion standard cubic feet of gas per day. Bakari said the NNPC was exploring partnerships and investments in transmission to unlock evaluation and improve the power sector. A look at the agricultural aspect of the economy. Well, the rice production has increased by 1.2 million metric tons according to the federal government. The federal government on Monday said that its intervention in the rice value chain led to an increase in rice production in Nigeria by 1.2 million metric tons within 3 years. Minister of State for Agriculture and Rural Development, Mustafa Chehuri, said this while assessing the federal government rice farm mills in Omo and Umerum at Ayemelu local government area, Anambra State, and under the Agricultural Transformation Agenda Support Program 1. It said the government was also pursuing and implementing programs to achieve self-sufficiency in rice production because of its strategic importance as a major stable food crops. And yes, this way I introduce to you my guest in the studio who will be throwing light to some of these issues that we just highlighted here. He's Dr. Abraham Ekperusi, the lecturer of the Nigerian University, Maritime University of Kerenkuku. So pleased to have you with us, sir. Thank you for having me. Be a guest on the program today. Like I highlighted, the electricity tariff has been the increase in the electricity tariff has been suspended for 2 weeks, within which there is a committee that has been set up to evaluate some of the issues that comes or that accompanied the increase, or to also examine if these increases important for the nation at this time. What is your thought about that?
Okay, thank you very much for this wonderful question. First, you must understand that the power sector has been privatized, especially for distribution companies. And also, as part of the arrangement for the privatization, there is a multi-year tariff increase that was signed as well. So there is room for the increase in power tariff in Nigeria. Now the issue is that prior to now we normally pay about 30 naira or 30 naira points at 33 kobo per kilowatt of electricity. They're increasing it to about 60 naira plus, which is like almost 100% increase. I, for one, I feel the amount is too much. Not only that, because of the fact that we are already on a global economic lockdown where business activity is very minimal. So in the prevailing circumstances, I would encourage the government to suspend the hike. Then when economic activities rebound, then we can now discuss the increase in tariff of the electricity. Again, I still feel that the 100% increase is too high, whether there's a global pandemic.
But they are saying that it's going to be cost reflective, that it's going to be based on the amount of, or the period of time you have access to electricity. That will determine the amount you pay at the end of the day.
Yes, I think about 12 to 15 hours if I'm correct. And also they said it's not going to affect the poor. The problem in Nigeria is that it's good to put policy in place, but implementing it and enforcing it become a problem. You know, just like, let's talk about prepaid meter. Everyone is supposed to have prepaid meter, but the discos are not providing it. So it may be good on paper, but at the end of the day, it may be loop-sided in the implementation, that at the end of the day, even the poor that the government try to protect, the discos may not protect the poor.
Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, there's a technical subcommittee that is meant to submit their report in 2 weeks, and that they're giving consumers this period to enjoy the previous tariff rate. But this meeting is for them also to advise, and after examining issues on why there haven't been a deployment of these meters that you rightly cited. But let's move further to the Itakpe-Warri rail lines that has been inaugurated by President Muhammadu Buhari. What's your take about that? What do you think is the significant economic impact that it will have on the nation, especially Delta State, Warri?
Well, it's very significant. I'm glad that it has been commissioned and is now fully operational, because for any nation to grow, you need critical infrastructure, and railway is one of the serious critical infrastructure we need in terms of moving of goods and passengers. You see, we have shortage of roads, and we even have roads that go bad all the time because of large excessive truck using our roads. But if we have a very functional railway system, most of the goods can be ferried from one city to another interstate within the railway system. And again, it's cheaper. And for railway, there is no traffic. You enter, and you can be sure that barring any unforeseen event, if the trip is 3 hours from here to Itakpe or 2 hours, you get there on time. There is no traffic to block you. There is no hooligans on the way, because it's protected, and it's far cheaper than the normal road transport. So it's of immense benefits for the entire route that the railway is crossing from Itakpe to Edo State to Delta State. So it's of significant economic benefits to the entire route and those that will be using the railway system. Okay,
so let's digress a little. You are lecturer of the Nigerian Maritime University, so you have a bit knowledge about the maritime sector.
Okay.
So how would we, with the experience we already have with the rail lines, how can we harness all that there is in the maritime sector to, of course, revitalize the economy, especially during this period of COVID-19?
Okay, the maritime sector, like every other sector of the economy, is still growing. It has not realized its full potentials.
Okay.
And again, because if you're listening recently, the first time in Nigeria, a 200 metric tons of a vessel got to One, which has not even got into Lagos. Why? Because before now, they don't allow such kind of large vessel to berth in Nigeria because of the fact that they say, oh, we have shallow water, our system is unstable and all that. So if we begin to do all the right things, put all the right things in place, there is adequate security, we improve our port system, you see that more goods will come into Nigeria with a higher volume, with larger vessels, and it has the capacity to spur more economic development.
Okay.
Also, you can see that the Nigerian Port Authority is trying to expand this what is Western, Southern or Eastern ports as they are called, the One port, the Warri port. So if we begin to bring more goods is begin to come to Nigeria, not only betting at Lagos. Of course, it has a ripple effect in, increasing, economic development of Nigeria.
Okay, let's come down to Delta State. We know that there's a port sitting somewhere that is not being utilized. What do you have to say about that?
Okay, the port in Warri, that it's utilized, but it's underutilized.
Okay.
That should be the right word. It's underutilized because we are not having enough cargoes coming to this part of the nation. Now, there are many factors involved. There are many issues. We're supposed to talk about the dredging of the waterway. Not only that, the expansion of the port facility. And not only that, we also have this issue of a vessel not wanting to leave the Lagos port. Some people say it's for security reasons. Some people say because the Lagos port cabal, do not want it. But so there are many issues that we need to clear. But I, for one, I don't believe it's for security reasons. Yes, because the entire western coast, the Gulf of Guinea, has its own security issue, like every other part of the world. So I think there is more of politics and people within the maritime sector trying to make sure that most goods do not live within the Lagos axis. Mind you, there's a Badagry port coming on, and also there is also a deep sea port in Lekki. So imagine that some people feel that everything should concentrate within Lagos, but it's very, very wrong. If you go to different countries, the maritime countries that have access to sea, they spread the port around the entire city, so that it can bring economic benefits to different cities and different states. So we are losing when we don't have a vessel coming to Nigeria. But again, we still have work to do, because people in Warri still have work to do to prevail on the government to seriously take the dredging work serious, and also expand the port. And if you expand the port, we also need to do our roads, because this road will not be able to get most of the goods coming. And I commend the president when he said that we should link our railway system to the port, so that it won't put much pressure on the roads that we have. So I'm optimistic that we may not get it right now, but with the way the current CEO of MPA is going, trying to make sure that all the ports, not just the Lagos port, is functional, I'm sure in the long run we'll get it right.
Okay, Nigeria celebrates its 60th anniversary tomorrow. And what would be your take on the economy so far? Of course, let me hear you first.
We've come a long way. If you look down memory lane, it has not been really good for, it's not a happy story for Nigeria, because if you take statistics, all the countries we start with, in 1960, almost all of them, they are already ahead of Nigeria. But nevertheless, I think we're crawling, but we're doing our best, especially with this administration. The development of critical infrastructure, it's to go a long way. We're having our railway rights, and also there's an agreement with Germany, with Siemens, to develop our power sector. That agreement is very fantastic. I think every Nigerian should pray that agreement should work, because power is very critical to the development of any nation. So if we can get these critical issues sorted out, I'm optimistic that our past may not be too good, but moving forward, yes, it's very, very optimistic.
Okay, let's talk about gas a bit. NNPC General Manager said that they will be focusing on gas growth,
Yes.
and with a specific focus on harnessing it for domestic use.
Yes.
What would be your take on that, looking forward?
Yes, Nigeria have a gas reserve that is even far higher than our crude oil reserve. So we need to harness it, not just for economic development of Nigeria, but also for export. It can be a source of huge income earnings for Nigeria. So I feel that if we can develop our gas, there's a gas master plan, cut some of this flaring, and get it right. Not only the cost of production can drop, the cost of commercial use or local domestic use can also fall down. The cost was falling down gradually before we have this global pandemic. So if we develop it further, you find out at the end of the day, it will even be more beneficial to use gas rather than use kerosene for domestic use, and also for industrial activities that they use other, maybe diesel or whatever. At the end of the day, it's possible that gas to run gas turbine or gas plant will become cheaper than using diesel or petrol generator. Mind you, the Ministry of of Petroleum also said that because of the increase in the fuel price, they are trying to encourage this gas utilization by vehicle by doing this CNG converter for most vehicles, so that instead of using petrol, you can use gas. So I'm confident that if we can develop the gas sector, subsector, not the petroleum sector very well, then we'll have enough to use it to bring the price down and to be huge income for Nigeria.
Okay, in closing, I'd like you to hear your thought on agriculture as another avenue to diversify the economy as the country celebrates its 60th anniversary. In one of our highlights, we talked about rice production, and saying that the rice production has increased by 1.2 million metric tons according to the federal government. So looking at agriculture as a way outside, of course, the oil and gas to diversify the economy, Nigeria celebrating 60th anniversary, what will be your take?
I think so far, the previous administration did a fantastic job to some extent in the agricultural sector, and again, this government did an exceptional work also in the agricultural sector. You can imagine within the past 4-5 years, we now have fully homegrown rice.
Yes.
Nigeria moved from the importation of 90% of its rice to almost now self-sufficiency in rice. So that's a very fantastic achievement because of the anchor borrower program of the Buhari government, and also the NISA loan system for agricultural enterprises. So I'm very optimistic that if we can do it for rice, imagine what would have happened. If we don't have our rice when there was a global lockdown.
Yes.
It would have been very, very serious. Today, most people wouldn't have been able to afford the foreign rice because countries like Thailand, Taiwan, they also shut their production and kept the rice they have for their own consumption, for their own food security, just like what happened in Egypt many years, centuries ago. So imagine if we have not been able to produce rice at the scale we have it now. Today we have rice processing facilities in Anambra State, we have in Ondo State, we have in Lagos, just like Lake Rice. And last week, Julius Berger for the first time said it's investing, is diversifying into agricultural sector. Why? Because the incentive and policy in the agricultural sector is not favorable for what? For investment. So if we continue in this line for rice, and we can do it again maybe for yam and maybe 5 other products, keep or export product, then I can assure you that again the agricultural sector may overtake the petroleum sector, because mind you, after independence, agriculture was give us 70% of our earnings for Nigeria before we now get crude oil, and everything collapsed because everybody now sees oil money. But now, as the oil opportunities are dwindling, it's good that we revive the agricultural sector and let it bounce back to what it used to be. And again, agriculture is the major employer of labor in Nigeria. So I'm optimistic that we have a bright future also with agricultural sector. But it's sad because in our own part of the world, most of the agricultural consumption comes from the northern part of Nigeria. You know, those people, they've been very, very fantastic in doing agricultural production. There are own part of the world, people like to sit down, they want a white collar job, you know, even the government be hammered and youth to go into agriculture, but very limited youth want to go. We have water, so we should harness what we have. Aquaculture development, fishery and all that. We should be champions in it, especially the Niger Delta states.
Region.
But you know, people want to shop oil money, they want to go into politics and stuff like that.
It's okay. I must say a very big thank you for making it possible to have you on the program today.
No problem.
And happy independence to you
Same
and
to
to
you.
all my viewers out there. It has been an interesting time on the program Business Angle. Thank you so much for being with us on the program. I am Ogali Mafero. Thanks.